in the ICU. Steve Schmidt, I want to show you the clip on Fox News that I mentioned. This is Neil Cavuto pulling away from White House spokeswoman Kayleigh McEnany.
You don't oppose an audit of the vote because you want an accurate count. You don't oppose our efforts at sunlight and transparency because you have nothing to hide. You take these positions because you are welcoming fraud and you are welcoming illegal voting. Our position is clear. We want to protect the franchise of the American people. We want an honest, accurate, lawful count. We want maximum sunlight. We want maximum transparency. We want every legal vote to be counted, and we want every illegal vote to be...
I just think we have to be very clear. She's charging, the other side is welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. Unless she has more details to back that up, I can't in good countenance continue showing you this. I want to make sure that maybe they do have something to back that up, but that's an explosive charge to make.
So, Steve, Neil Cavuto, a person with a conscience who understands not just that those are flagrant lies, there have been Trump observers in where all of the counting is ongoing. And a lot of these officials at the state level, Georgia and other places, are Republicans. So she's accusing a whole bunch of people that have absolutely no reason to be in on some massive non-existent conspiracy of things that they have no incentive to do. But that should be the human reaction of everyone. And it's so remarkable because it happened on Fox News. Do you think that sort of humanity or conscience is contagious over there?
Well, look, I'm happy Neil Cavuto did that, but he did not go far enough. Watching Kayleigh McEnany talk about honesty and transparency is an obscenity in this country. She is a serial liar with no credibility, who is part of his regime that has done terrible damage to America. Neil Cavuto knows the answer. Right? There is no widespread electoral fraud. It does not exist. And we have enough information right now in this moment, in the space-time continuum, to understand that. So we ought to stop saying that if there is evidence, there is no evidence, right? This is a fantasy, right? We're watching a conspiracy theory be woven in real time. And every person in this country should be outraged over it. The Capitol Dome was constructed in what might be the greatest act of optimism in the country's history. Lincoln insisted that it be built during the middle of Civil War, so there would be a temple under which the country's democracy could reconsecrate itself. In the shadow of Arlington National Cemetery, the heroes that saved this country at Gettysburg and on Normandy, in the shadow of the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, the Jefferson Memorial, under that dome, we have members of Congress refusing to acknowledge the legitimacy of an election result, who are complicit in the fabulism coming out of this White House. And we think it's okay for them to play politics for how long? Days, weeks, a month? Where they poison the American polity with this BS? It is the last outrage. But when we look at all of the assaults on the rule of law and decency, on common sense, the actions that led to this pandemic raging out of control, hundreds of thousands of people that will be dead, not be because that otherwise would not be, right? The worst thing they have done is this. This is it. What the greatness of the country is bound up very directly to the peaceful transition of power that follows an American election. And this election, like the elections before it, was a free and fair election conducted across the states, and the American people have rendered their verdict, and they threw Donald Trump out on his ass. And whether he likes it or not, too bad. That's the result. But to see senior leaders elected to federal office in this Congress who took an oath of office to the Constitution of the United States playing games with this is a disgrace for the ages.
They want me to go to break, but I can't let you stop here, Steve Schmidt. You're just getting going. Tell me what we do next.
Well, we should demand that every one of these elected officials accede to the reality that Donald Trump has been defeated. should give no quarter to this fantasy world. It doesn't exist. These people are damaging in a profound way pillars of American democracy that require one side being able to look in the mirror and to say, we lost. We'll get you next time. It goes to the heart of the legitimacy of the system. But we need to stop playing around with this. You know, with all respect to Peter, and I think Peter's entirely right? They'll come around in a couple of weeks, but after how much damage? They already know the result, and we should insist on that they stop it. Nobody gets time to deal with their feelings here. This is the presidency of the United States. We decide. If this was going on in another country, what would we call it? This is autocratic behavior. This is unacceptable in this country. And it is unacceptable for the senior leaders of the Republican Party to be doing what they are doing. Joe Biden has won. Pick up the phone and congratulate the president-elect of the United States and do better in 4 years. Maybe if there's a nominee with a modicum of competence and isn't crazy, they won't have such a decisive defeat next time.
Peter